Blows time on, and we're away. Straight down to the winger Gary Mercer. Runs into trouble though with Dowling, and Tunks immediately putting him to the ground unceremoniously. Wallace's dummy half. Blindside. Comes the second row forward, Sam Stewart. And now Adrian Shelford, who was originally listed to play in jumper number 10. He's in jumper number 8, as you probably saw. Back to fullback Williams. Gary Jack. Slipping and held by Mark Horrow. 10 metres short of the halfway mark. Now Shearer in there, a mistake by Australia. But the referee, Mr. Keisha, calling the knock on. Michael O'Connor, who has the safest hands in the business. So the first scrum of the match. 32 metres out from the Australian line. Mr. Keisha, the referee, has handled only one test match before. That was Australia versus Papua New Guinea. It's an untidy scrum, but Australia have come up with it, but he's ruled a knock on again. That's Mr. Keisha. I don't know of too many Indian rugby league referees in the world. He's lived in New Zealand just about all his life. Now New Zealand moving it across the back line. Dean Bell caught and dumped. Brett Kenny got underneath him, drove him back. Now McGahn runs into a brick wall. Wayne Pearce there to take him. Wallace dummy half. Getting it across to the front row forward, Ross Taylor, who has a reputation as being a tough guy. Wallace, blindside move to Shelford, flicking the ball anywhere, picked up, luckily, probably by Horrow. He's caught 32 metres out from the Australian line. Now it's to Friend, across to Cooper. Cutting out Bell with a long pass to Iro, who's put it down, picked up by Australia. And there's a punch on in centre field. Clayton Friend getting in there, arguing with Brett Kenny, some pushing and shoving. The big men come into it, and it stops. The referee, Keisha, calling out Clayton Friend. What's he issuing a warning to him? Well, some fireworks early, Jack.
Yes, there is. They've got a wounded player down there. I can't pick his number, a wing boy. Centre. Is that Bell? He's up now.
And here's that incident again. Cooper's pass cut out Era, who put it down. And there was originally the knock on, but the penalty has been given to New Zealand. Well, he's ruled that Australia has been the aggressor in that particular passage of play. So first scoring opportunity to New Zealand, and the kicker is a very interesting young man, Kevin Iro, his name is. He's only just turned 19. Big, strong fellow. In fact, when he plays, when he runs, you could be excused for thinking it was Mal Meninga of about 5 or 6 years ago. Big responsibility for him tonight. Kevin Iro is his name. Now this kick is about in line with the right hand upright. 40 metres out, plenty of height, and just to the side of the post. Brought out by Gary Jack. No score in this test match. Now Jack has brought it out about 12 metres. And now the New Zealand forwards start to return some of the heavy work on the Australian boys as Pearce is caught. Simmons getting a pass away to Tunks. And a late tackle, and there's some heavy work going in on Tunks. Punches being thrown by Taylor. Here it comes, it's on. Well, Taylor came rushing in late on Tunks then. Immediately the Australian forwards responded to his call for help. And the Kiwis came charging in as well. Now Taylor, I thought, was the aggressor in that. Taylor was involved in a knock on Gary and Greg Dowling when the Kiwis played the Queensland side here a couple of weeks ago. In fact, he put Dowling down for the count. That's 10, number 10, Ross Taylor. And as I said to you before, he has a reputation for toughness.
Well, things like that put our game in jeopardy. And a game that should just about make the football Hall of Shame.
Well, the referee saw it the way we did, and a grim-faced Don Furner watches as Australia get their penalty, and Lewis kicks for touch and will find it about 40 metres out from his own line. No score in this test match, full of action, Darryl Eastlake.
Well, certainly, I don't know about that, Blue, because New Zealand have been putting the stink on since they came on the field, particularly Taylor. He's obviously after Dowling, and Dowling had a bit to say after that first incident. Let's hope they settle down and play some rugby league. Right, Australia with the football now, and they're making their way toward the halfway line. They slip a ball out the back door, quickly taken by Pearce. But it goes on to Bobby Lindner, playing in jumper number 13. We remind you they are wearing international jumpers tonight. Sterling now fires one out to Lewis, a run-around movement. They're going wide. Here's Kenny. Kenny now gets it into stride. Kenny turns it back inside the Shearer. Loose ball, though. Miles gets it off the deck. And plenty of push and shove, and there's a knock on there, too, so we'll have a scrum down near the Kiwi 22. But Brett Kenny showing that he's keen to run tonight, Jack Gibson.
Well, he picked up 40 metres on that play. It was a pretty big run. It was great. Well, you expect him to do that.
Kiwi ball now, and they fire it out of the scrum pretty quickly. Let's see if they can get some running into this game rather than just a little bit of biffo that they've been turning on. Mercer, the wing, has been getting involved a fair bit. Shelford going hard and straight, but they wrap him up. And there'll be a bit done between the props before this game is over, let me tell you. There'll be plenty done. And there's the tough man, Ross Taylor, now running into a little bit of heavy green and gold. They fire it back for the kick. High punt kick down into Australian territory, taken by Shearer. Shearer ringed by black and white jumpers. They swarm in on him. Still on his feet, Shearer. By geez, had a good season this year. Played very well for the Queensland side in the State of Origin series. Australia now trying to get into the New Zealand territory. They're just short the halfway territory there, into the ground by about 3 or 4 metres, but line pretty deep now. Let's see who the runners are. Tunks comes barrelling forward, but only goes a metre or two. Brought down pretty quickly. Horrow in there along with Shelford. Royce Simmons with a special of his. He makes 4 or 5 metres into the black and white territory. Comes out to Lewis. He reverses it back into the other side of the Australian lineup, and there's a good run from Australia as they handball it round now. Look at Lewis looking around for support. Here's Sterling. Sterling for Australia, and he's in. Up a Lewis pass at Sterling, and the Australian side draw first blood. That was a beauty. Oh boy, the Australians willing to throw it around. Sterling in for the green and golds. See it again now as the ball came round to Sterling now. He fired it out to Bobby Lindner. Lindner really split him up the centre. He got it wide and came back inside to Lewis. Lewis just stood there, had plenty of time. Flicked it back to Sterling. Sterling put the accelerator on the floorboards, and there it was, 4 points.
Well, this was a real try. Sterling gets 2 handlings of the play, and so does Wally Lewis. Very seldom you see that happen. He just kept that alive. There's Sterling on the backup.
O'Connor with a kick now. Difficult angle. Gets it in the air. And the flags go up. A magnificent kick from Michael O'Connor. So Australia now lead New Zealand 6-0. We'll be back shortly to Lang Park.
Peter the Great, a unique television event.
Time for modesty is over.
Forced into a loveless marriage. He outraged his entire nation with his illicit affairs.
How much do you love me, Peter Alexeyevich?
Only one woman stood beside him as he pushed his country into the modern world. Over 4 magnificent nights, Nissan Pulsar presents Peter the Great. Premiere Sunday, 8:30 on 9.
If you thought Captain Snooze only sell beds, take a look at this. See, they sell beautiful bedroom furniture too. Take a peek at this. And this. And this one. And with every bedroom suite sold, Captain Snooze will give you 2 of these lamps absolutely free. So if you thought Captain Snooze only sold beds, then you obviously haven't seen the light. The Captain Snooze See the Light sale. Buy a bedroom suite this week and get 2 lamps free.
While you're still fast asleep, we're flat out on our feet. We've got to keep this nation on the go. When your working day is through, we've got 12 million things to do. Picking up and sorting coast to coast. We're Australia Post. We deliver. We deliver. teddy bears, lettergrams and faxes, couriers and parcel packs, yes, we're Australia Post. We deliver any destination across the world, across the nation, across the world. We're Australia Post. We deliver.
It's Guess Furniture's Winter Price Blitz, and with slash prices on the entire range of elegant Chiswell furniture, and take advantage of our fantastic bonus offer. Spend $2,000 on the fine Chiswell collection, and we'll throw in a coffee table absolutely free. Spend $4,500 and receive a console table and stool. Spend $6,500 and a mobile server table is yours free. For Melbourne's largest range of Chiswell furniture, hurry in now.
We treat you like a guest at Guest.
Guess Furniture's Winter Price Blitz, on now.
Welcome back to Lang Park for this big test match between Australia and New Zealand. From the kick-off, Australia used 2 tackles. There was an illegal bit of play. Australia got the penalty, and the result of that now is the tap kick. Right, Australia back into New Zealand territory. Tunks will play it back to Royce Simmons. And they're just grafting away, the Australians. They're just making 3 and 4 metres, and then they'll throw it out wide. There's plenty of pace in this side. And they're just waiting now nice and deep, the Australians. Very, very deep. Ian Maurice, anything could happen here.
Certainly could. 6 points to nothing. Australia lead. Still plenty of niggle in this match too. There's a few things going on in the tackles that have gone undetected. Now play situated just inside the New Zealand half. And Miles will get up to play it in centre field. Last tackle is signalled. Simmons has got it back to Lewis. The kick to open spaces from Lewis is a good one. Here's the followers coming through after the ball. But New Zealand's Mark Elia takes it and is grounded in the in goal. Good chase from Michael O'Connor.
Well, I reckon Michael O'Connor was offside there a couple of yards, but the game was, he got away with it.
Well, he certainly chased the kick and was able to grab hold of Elia and put him down in the in-goal area. Now, I know a lot of people in New South Wales are interested in one of the earlier games that was played here, the combined Sydney Colts and the 4X youth squad. The Sydney side won quite comfortably, 40 points to 26. 40 to 26, the Sydney side winning. Now, from the restart of play, Gary Jack has to run back almost to his own quarter line before he's able to get into a running situation. Now linking up with Wayne Pearce on the halfway mark and put down and almost into touch. Managed to stay there. Linda is now a dummy half. Making about 5 or 6 metres, but losing it behind him. Picked up by Pearce, who's played it to Simmons, out of Dowling. And wherever Dowling takes it up and Tunks, you'll find this fellow Taylor. Now some switches are playing more heavy hits too. McGahn and Taylor again. That was Shearer who caught that one. Now it's with Lewis. Across to Miles. Back for Lewis. It's gone behind him. Lewis is able to pick it up. Get it to Sterling. Sterling chased by Cooper. Away from him. Straightening. Back to halfway and finally put down. But it's the last tackle being signalled for Australia. They lead 6 points to nothing as Lewis puts the kick again into the open spaces. Williams has to run back almost to his own line before he picks it up. The chasers are there for him now. Linda slipped. And Williams is able to get to the 10-metre mark before he's put down. Elia running from dummy half position. Can't make any progress at all. Now it's back to Taylor. Caught by Tunks. Wallace is the dummy half. To Friend. And to Cooper. Cooper linking up now with the Hero. Hero tries to bump off or fend off Shearer, but Shearer sticks to him. And finally, well, I thought he pushed him into touch. Right, the touch judge didn't agree. Play on, he said. It's with Cooper. A run-around move with Mercer. Mercer straightening now to the halfway mark. Last tackle signal from the Kiwis. Promising play from them. Australia leads 6 points to 0. Clayton Friend gets a pass blindside. It's gone behind him, picked up and kicked through by Cooper. Now it's picked up by Gary Jack for Australia.
Tunk's done a great tackle on that just a moment ago there. He's certainly been in the action.
Now Dowling takes the tackle. 35 metres out from his own line. Simmons dummy half. dummy to Niebling, then got a pass away to Shearer. Shearer into the clear. He's running away from Williams. He's moved in, he's stopping, looking for support, got it back to Pearce. Pearce trying to link up with O'Connor. O'Connor has it, steps inside and caught 10 metres out. Good play from the Australians. O'Connor the player, 10 metres out from the New Zealand line. Across to Simmons. Got past one. Can he offload? No, he can't. 12 metres out from the New Zealand line. Last tackle signal for Australia. It's to Sterling, to Lewis. And to Tunks for the high tackle, kicked through by Dowling. Now it's picked up by Cooper. Well, the referee took no action on what I thought was a high tackle. It's the New Zealand coach Tony Gordon, a former All Black. There's a punch on out here between Mercer and Kenny. Well, Kenny tackled Mercer on suspicion, Jack, didn't he?
Well, they forgot about Tunks. He put on a high shot on Tunks. They've gone for a quick tap here, incidentally.
We'll stick with the play now as the second row forward, Horrow, makes good progress. 32 metres out from his own line. 6 points to nothing. Australia lead the Kiwis. Darryl, the excitement's still there.
Yes, they're starting to play some good football now, the Kiwis, starting to get a bit looser. They were very, very nervous when they ran onto this ground. You've got to remember 6 of their players have never played Australia before. And, of course, Lang Park's a fairly eerie place for any visiting side. But they're looking a lot better. But O'Connor's hands over in that far corner. Geez, a good player. There'll be a penalty given here, or perhaps a scrum back down. Yes, it'll be a scrum. It's in the Kiwi end of the ground by, well, it's about 10 metres short of the halfway line. Scrums 1 Australia, New Zealand 3 scrums. So there you go, 3-0. New Zealand getting a fair share of the ball. They haven't had much chance to do anything with it as Gary Jack comes back into the back line, swinging around, looking for someone to throw it to, and there was no one close enough. Like a ballet dancer, Gary Jack, as Miles now winds up. He belts his way 4 or 5 metres upfield, centre field, midway between the half and the quarter. New Zealand's end of the ground. The ball comes out to Lewis. Lewis quickly gets it out to Bobby Linder. He's barreled very quickly by McGahn. Now it goes back to Sterling. Sterling gets it wide to Niebling. A long pass out to Gary Jack. Gary Jack wrapped up, though, on the far corner of the ground, and Australia will throw it back this way now. They're not deep, though. They're just looking to take it up at the moment as a settler. And Niebling does that. And they're right on the 22 now for the last tackle. Watch for the kick. There's Sterling, and there's the kick. And well-placed kick it is, too. Taken well, though. And look at this, driven back into the in-goal area. Well, Australia, too tough for this side at the moment. Oh, some big defence. They just barreled New Zealand back into the in-goal, Jack. Tough stuff out there.
Well, it is, but New Zealand also shown the ability to defend. I think they've handled that pretty well. And if their condition is as good as Australia, this could be a pretty exciting game.
Well, Australia will receive the ball again from that drop, and it goes straight to Gary Jack right on the halfway line now. He winds up. Kenny down injured at the moment. Kenny just cramped, I would think, the way that he's taking a bit of a knock in the leg anyways. He's freeing it up. The trainers with him now. We'll come back to the play. They're short of the 22 just by a couple of metres, Australia. Out they come. Here's Dowling. Where's Ross Taylor? Have a look for him. There he was. He wasn't far away. These two are gunning for each other, I'm told, as the ball swings back inside. Unloaded very quickly to Sterling now. Here's Shearer. Shearer gets a little bit of pace going. He's trying to get the ball free and can't. And Dean Bell falls on it for the Kiwis. So what can they do? They're inside their 22 and they've got to get out of there quickly, as Mercer does his best to do just that. And he mainly, well, he made it just by centimetres. Shelford. Out to Cooper. They come back inside. This is Stewart. Pretty mobile second rower. Tough build, this bloke, when you see him stripped down to his shorts. Big frame, big body, the upper body as they swing it around now. Trying to get going is Iro. Gets tackled midway between the half and the quarter now. The Kiwis need to get down to Australia's end, so McGahn puts that little chip kick through. Through they go, but Gary Jack will take it quite safely without too much pressure. The idea was there, but the Kiwis didn't chase quick enough, Jack.
Well, they did chase pretty well. He just got there before Jack did. But their ability to chase the football when they haven't got it, I think has amazed me a little bit. I'm very enthusiastic.
Right, Australia now through Wayne Pearce. Still short of the halfway line, just by a couple of metres as they flick it out now to Lewis. No, it's Tunks. Tunks to Lewis. Lewis can't handle it though. It comes off his boot. It's gone loose, and New Zealand will come up with it, and they'll play the ball from there. Horro, the second rower. They get it out to Mercer. Bit of a step at this Mercer. And a surprise selection in this side. A player that's not that well known in New Zealand, but he certainly seems to be doing okay tonight. And look at Shelford now as he makes a big barging run down, but couldn't unload the ball. Well, Sterling has got the ball for Australia, so all of that good work done by Shelford now is lost. No, it goes quickly out. It was Lewis who got the ball, not Sterling at all. So a bit of good work there from Wally Lewis, and some good work from Shelford. Pretty tough big front rower. Dowling turns it back to Sterling now. Sterling weaving his way up as Simmons now tries to unload, but decides to take the tackle. Lewis dummy half. Here's Tunks. Tunks if he can break it. Tunks if he can unload it, and just couldn't do it. He had the Gary Jack shadowing him there, but he just couldn't get it away. And what's the referee going to do here? He's going to put down a scrum. That's what he's going to do. Well, Australia have only won one scrum to New Zealand's 3. To New Zealand feet, it should go that way, and it does so. Leighton Friend swivels around and gets it to Cooper. He quickly gets it out to Darryl Williams, who doesn't unload, takes the tackle. And the Kiwis a bit slow to get back on side at the moment. They're still running back. Iro takes the ball up, and he makes a break too, and he's got no support. He's weaving his way downfield with some great running there. But where are the Kiwis? They're half a mile back. They need to get on this ball, Ian Maurice, and they need to do it now.
This is Hugh McGann taking it up for the Kiwis in centre field. He's about 40 metres out from the Australian line. The Australians lead 6 points to 0. Now here comes Taylor, turning his back to the fence, getting it away to Clayton Friend. It's gone back for the second row forward, Sam Stewart. Stewart trying to hurdle over everybody. Still going, Stewart. Got a pass back inside, and it's to Taylor, and Taylor's going to score. Well, that was an amazing try. Stewart went 360 degrees, hurdled a couple of fallen players, and was able to link up with that man, number 10, Taylor. Watch it. This is Stewart. There he goes, jumping through them. Got to the quarter line. Saw Taylor back in there, and Taylor, big prop, was able to barge over and score underneath the post.
Well, the Australian defence here, I think they're all staring at their big toe because there's very little reaction. Hey, you get him, not me. He just kept that marching up centre field, and he's got a receiver outside him, and he walked one in.
And there's the kick. It's all level. 6 points all. Australia and New Zealand here at Lang Park.
Calcium, vitamins, cereals, polyunsaturates, meat protein. Meaty Bites builds a healthier dog. 5 ways, with all the satisfaction of added marrowbone. When it comes to the crunch, Meaty Bites has all the good taste of true-to-the-meat varieties. Meaty Bites builds a healthier dog. 5 ways.
Almost every smoker knows what it's like to run out of puff, but few know the reason why. Inside your lungs are millions of tiny air sacs. Cigarette by cigarette, these air sacs die until you're out of breath, almost all the time. This is emphysema. 9 out of 10 average smokers have the beginnings of emphysema. Fortunately, some quit smoking before they quit breathing. Call the Quit line now.
A 4-hour BASF super high-grade videotape is good for at least 1,000 car chases, guaranteed. BASF. You can't erase the quality.
From $12.95 at the tape place at Myer. Right now, there are dozens of people trying to sell what they claim are mobile telephones. But there's only one mobile phone that fits neatly into your pocket and allows you to move from car to car without installation. Mobiletronic's Pocket Phone. It uses Telecom's new cellular network to make and receive calls almost anywhere, anytime. Mobiletronics pocket phone. The smallest, most advanced cellular phone in the world fits your pocket.
Welcome back to Lang Park. The Kiwis have used up 6 tackles, and on the 6th they've kicked down, and Gary Jack has the ball. That's on his quarter line. And caught and put down 32 metres out from the Australian line. 6 points all here at Lang Park. So Connor bumps off one. Finally caught. Miles went to dummy half. Sterling got it to Dowling. Around his ankles again was Taylor. Now Lindner will play it about 9 metres short of the halfway mark. Sterling out to Miles. Miles almost to the halfway mark. Sterling kicking. And again to open spaces as well. And Darryl Williams almost to the quarter line before he's put down. Brenda's dummy half to Dean Bell. Out to Mercer. Mercer thought he saw a gap, and he's in the clear again. Mercer almost around Lewis, but Lewis was able to hold on to that ankle and pull him down. But a good run from Mercer, showing a nice step tonight. Now it's across to Wallace. To Stewart. And Stewart is caught 40 metres out from the New Zealand line. Taylor. Friend. Cooper. McGann. Into Bell. Bell's to the quarter line, to the halfway mark, I should say, looking for support. Clubbing on the pace now, Bell. The pass is back from Mercer. Mercer stepping. Mercer's going to score. The Kiwis are in again. Well, what about that? New Zealand throwing the ball about, backing up, showing pace and deception. Have hit the front. That was Taylor getting it across to Friend. This was a great try. Look all the way. McGann linking up with Bell. Bell 3/4 pace. Got to the halfway mark. Now look for support. Clapped on a bit more pace to the quarter line. Saw Mercer there. Mercer had the pace and the step to come inside Shearer and score a great New Zealand try.
Well, the start of this play, Australia's defence out wide was very skinny. Now, and you see number 6. He went for the intercept and missed out, and they just got had that extra play on them, extra man.
Now Kevin Iro has it placed on the 10-metre line, on the 22-metre line as well. So on that junction, as he did 1 from 2, and this 19-year-old. A lot of pressure on him tonight. And it's just to the left-hand side of the upright. So New Zealand retain the lead, 10 points to 6. Darryl Eastlake, could this be a boil over?
Well, we've seen it before with New Zealand sides. We said Mercer had some step. By gee, he has, but Bell seems to find an extra 3 metres of pace whenever he puts that black and white jumper on. What a great run from Bell. He really split the Australians and just stood them up with some marvellous footwork. And I tell you what, this side, well, we said don't underestimate this Kiwi side. They're playing with a lot of purpose. And the Australian side, the world champions, undefeated on the Kangaroo Tour, really have to shake themselves out of a slump. I guess if we could offer an excuse, you'd have to say it's hard for them to come back after the State of Origin series. But this is another ball game. It's a test series, and New Zealand obviously hungry to make victory here. OK, let's come back to the footballers. They're inside the 22, the Kiwis, trying to run it out. And this fellow's impressed tonight, Mercer. By geez, hungry for work. He's been in off his wing, looking to run the ball all the time as Clayton Friend slips another ball, and here they go again. As the Kiwis right down, and look at Bell. Bell turning. Oh, he just couldn't get the pass away. Perhaps held on a little bit too long then. But they're still going. Plenty of roll on here. Shelford rolls out of one. He gets it into Bell. Bell stepping, dancing, still going and unloads again. He gets it on to Taylor. Taylor with support with Horro. Horro's put it down though. But they're looking dangerous, the Kiwis, throwing it around and backing each other up, Jack Gibson.
Well, again, Brett Kenny went for an intercept, and he left them a couple short in defence.
Well, this scrum to pack 32 metres out from the Australian line. Australia's will feed the ball. Sterling gets it. A loose pass goes to Lewis. He's got a fall on the ball. That's all he could do. So Australia looking a little shell-shocked at the moment. Gary Jack up in the back line. He goes for a stepping run, but they're right onto him. Centre field just outside the 22. Lays it back to Simmons. On to Pearce now. Pearce unwinding, but can't release the football. This Kiwi defence very good. They're wrapping up the player, ball and all. Looking for runners, the Australians, but well, they're very tightly bunched around the rucks. Now they're getting a lot deeper, the Australians. On to Sterling. Sterling flicks a nice ball out for Niebling. Out wide. Only a black and white defence there, though. They've made their way downfield this time as Lewis clears it with a long driving kick. Williams will take it, though. Mercer's with him. Look at the step from Williams. And a big don't argue. Gets it on to Mercer. And Mercer stepping his way through this Australian side every time he takes the ball. Geez, a good player.
I tell you, the good player is Tunks. He's gone for every play. He's gone in every defensive action he could get into.
Certainly has, Jack. That have been a bigger score so far without Tunks' defence. Really reading the New Zealand play well. And here's McGahn now as he takes a big striding run downfield. Out it goes for the little chip kick. Gary Jack across in cover, but it might just beat him. No. Oh, well, he's just got to dive on it. And they claim him, the Kiwis. Oh, they're full of fire. That was Cooper that followed it through. He put the kick through too. Well, Australia now inside their 22. O'Connor will play it back to Simmons. It comes back to Sterling. They're throwing it around now, trying to unload this. Lewis. Now they've made the break, Australia. Gene Miles strides up outside the 22, but the support not there. He looked the other side, then he should have gone the blind side. As Sterling with a long floating pass out across the back line. They're putting their heads down and trying to burrow through the Australians, but this defensive New Zealander's there. Gary Jack will play it back to O'Connor. Back to Sterling. He puts the ball in the air. Williams perfectly positioned as he takes the ball and brings it back midway and halfway. And a bustling run too from Williams. By gee, they're playing well there. They're taking on the Australians man for man. This Kiwi side prepared to throw it and step. Shelford with a bustling run back to the halfway line. Well, Ian Maurice, every time they get it, they're deep and they're throwing it around, and well, their stepping is so good.
Yes, it's very pretty to watch. They're playing with a great deal of confidence now, the Kiwis. They lead by 10 points to 6. And here they go again, straight up the middle, and it's a Horro, the second row forward, still going up towards the Australian quarter line, up again. They can't hold him. Kevin, or Mark Horro, and here's Clayton Friend. Across to Cooper, out to Dean Bell, trying to link up. Oh, they put it down. Elia couldn't hang on to it. Looking very, very dangerous, the Kiwis, Jack.
I tell you what, we got some people out in the green and gold. I tell you, they're out to lunch. We've got three. We've got Pearce playing excellent, and we've got Sterling doing his job. There's a few short.
It's gone with the feed, that scrum. And here's Gary Jack. Scored by Cooper, Friend and McGahn. Now back with Pearce. Pearce just short of the quarter line. Tunks met with some strong defence.
And he had no help. They were allowed to gang tackle him. No one come with him.
Sterling, Lewis to Kenny. Kenny linking up too with Lindner, and now O'Connor's kick is down for Williams. Williams steps, and Williams brings it straight back upfield again. Exciting stuff from one end of the field to the other. Lewis is down. Immediately the referee halted play. Let's see if we can see what happened here. He tried to tackle Williams, went down low. Yes, you could see him crying out in pain there. Larry Britton, the Australian trainer, with him. Let's have another look at that incident with Pearce. See if we can have another look. And there he is making the tackle. And it's just obscured there. It seems to be, well, it could be anything. Might be his foot. He may have twisted his foot as he went down.
So it didn't seem to be anything illegal on that play. He just got a boot maybe when he went in for the tackle. But what I see with Australia, they're looking for shortcuts in a tough game. And that's a good way to get behind on the scoreboard.
Jack, let's remind everybody, of course, if they need reminding, that 6 days ago, New South Wales and Queensland put on an exhibition of football here that, well, just amazed everyone. How difficult would it have been for Furner to get those players together and have their minds on this test match tonight?
Well, that was his job, and that's what he had to do. I mean, that was the price he had to pay. That was the cards he was dealt, so he had to play them.
Well, they're showing some concern about Wally Lewis. The Kiwi trainer over to assist. McGahn checking. Well, they are concerned. They're looking towards the touchline, but Lewis does appear to be in pain, Jack.
Well, pain doesn't hurt unless you feel it. But you got an extra man out there going to have a look at it.
Yeah, they're concerned about his neck, apparently. He twisted his neck and his upper back as he went in to make that tackle. And, of course, there's always a great concern whenever there's a neck injury or a back injury, and rightly so.
Well, I think he's going to soldier on.
Okay, well, play will restart now. Lewis dropping into a second line of defence. So the Kiwis start to bring it back up towards the halfway mark. Shelford, 5 metres short of the halfway. Now Taylor. He's played strongly tonight, Taylor. Just inside Australia's territory. Clayton Friend switching play. Now it's out to Sam Stewart. Played strongly tonight as well. In fact, all the Kiwis have performed very well tonight. Now Friend. Linking up again with Cooper. Cooper's got support to it, Dean Bell, but the pass was forward. Well, the referee had no hesitation in calling it back. That pass there, I think you'll find, is the one he ruled forward. Yes, it is.
Well, I went forward, but a few others were marginal, and there's been very little endeavour to keep them back 5 yards either side, and you allowed them all in the tackles tonight. But still, the referee has been pretty equal.
Okay, well, Australia bring it back inside New Zealand's half. It's 10 points to 6, Darryl. It's yours till half-time, my friend.
Well, what a shock. What a performance from New Zealand. They're really starting to throw this ball around, and they're splitting Australia with some great footwork, and they're backing the man up, and that's what this game's all about. Well, Australia, can they fight back? I remind you the score, 10-6, and Australia trailing at the moment as Gene Miles stands on his feet. He's finally put down by the Kiwis. Centre field, midway between the half and the quarter. New Zealand's into the ground as Sterling now gets it out to Gary Jack. Gary Jack gets it to Pearce. Pearce now winds up, gets it back to Gary Jack, but he's wrapped up very quickly by Huey McGahn. He's lost the ball. Well, they've said penalty Australia for raking the ball out of the hands. Huey McGahn is the offender there. And let me tell you, Australia would welcome that. Here's the incident as they're rolling around, and McGahn just tried to flick the ball out of the hands. Right.
Well, I think he got that. He was lucky to get that penalty.
Australia now in a good position. This will put them just inside the 22. Tunks is going to take the tap, and he'll charge them from there. Now he turns around and he unloads to is it Dowling? Miles it was, and it's loose again. A Shearer now. Shearer belts his way. He's on the line. They hold him up and they pull him over the touchline. 4 or 5 Kiwis there just belted him over the touchline. Well, this defence very committed in the black and white jumper tonight. They've said this is the fittest team Now look at this, Shearer battling, trying to stay on his feet, and bang, over the touchline. So this scrum now, 5 metres out. Kiwi ball, and they get it too. Friend now just dances round the back of the scrum, but pulled down pretty quickly. Look for the runners. They're going nowhere at the moment. The Kiwis very bunched. They're just prepared now, I think, to run it out. Shelford gets up again, still goes. He's a strong man, this Shelford, Jack.
Well, he's been asked to work, and that's what he's doing. He's taking it up where the yardage is tough, straight in the middle of the ruck.
Taylor this time with another good little run. He's the man they've labelled the hit man and the tough man of this side. He's played very well, and that kick's too big. So back it comes. Wallace, the hooker, having a kick then, but far too big. And he gets a little pat on the head from McGahn, who says, don't worry about it, you'll get another chance. Okay, Australia look like getting this ball. Well, he says play on. What about that, Jack?
Well, that was something you don't see in Australian football. I think he just picked it up, fell on it in the middle of the scrum, and he said, okay. It might be all right in India then.
Well, that was Horro, not the Indian that got the ball. It's Shelford again as he belts his way forward. We saw a similar instance to that at Carlisle Park, when Clayton Friend went through a scrum, much the same as that. All right, let's come back here now as they wind up, and this is Stewart, and he's played very strongly. Powerful build, this man. Second rower, remember, international numbering tonight as Williams now clears the ball down from the Kiwis, puts it deep into the Australian half there, and O'Connor tried everything he could to get the ball, and he couldn't. So that's a great kick from Williams.
We're in a crucial period now. It's 3 minutes before half-time, and there's a lot of points scored usually in this area. Well, they're only 12, 14 metres out, and they're going to get the feed, so they're going to get the football.
Well, O'Connor tried everything he could to get the ball and couldn't. New Zealand have won 6 scrums to Australia's 3. And one of those was against the feed, and they got this one. It's gone with the feed. Right, let's see what they can do. Out it comes. Look for the runners as Bell fires it out. And they've got some pace here as Williams joins in the back line. He gets it back to Bell. Bell trying to unload. He loses the ball. Gary Jack's got it for Australia. Gary Jack runs it out. He's taken down hard now. Cooper was the tackler, but penalty's gone to New Zealand. Well, Jack explained this one to me. It looked like he was talking about somebody back-chatting.
Well, I don't know where he got that penalty. He must have enough green coupons or something, because I don't know where he produced it.
Well, Wally Lewis is ropeable, but there was an article up here in Brisbane saying this man will not tolerate any back-chat on the field. Look at Tunks, he's not happy. Wally's really done the biscuit here. Oh, he's not happy at all, but they will warn the Australians that this fellow will not have anybody talk to him on a field.
Well, that's fair enough too. Wally's doing a little acting back there.
Neville Keisha, the referee from New Zealand. Look at Lewis. Oh, I don't think I have to remind you what was said there. Made his point pretty clear. Well, the score is 10-6. Australia trailing. The Kiwis have a sitter in front. Here's Elliott. Right in front, he could throw it over from here, and there's the angle. Gary Jack waiting for any rebound that might happen, but it's straight over, let me tell you. So it makes it 12 points to 6, and we're just minutes out from the half-time break, and the Kiwis on the boil here just before half-time. Don Ferner can't believe it. Terry Parker can't believe it. We can't believe it up here. The Australian side can't believe it.
The scoreboard believes it.
Sure does, Jack. The new Kiwi coach, the man that took over from Graham Lowe, and a lot of pressure on this man. He picked a lot of players that he felt comfortable with, and they haven't let him down. Well, the Kiwis come back again now. This is Horro, and they're outside the 22. 4 tackles to go, and the time clicking away here. Just a minute and a half to go before half-time. Hungry for points. Look at the runners. They want to come on. Stewart is the dummy there, but it goes to Shelford. Shelford gets the head down. He's rolled around. Too much defence this time. This is Taylor. Taylor with a half break too. He's still going. Taylor. He gets it he unloads the ball this time to Bell. They flick it out to Stewart. Stewart comes back inside, holding on. Looked to unload, but couldn't do so. Now the Kiwis very, very deep. Let's see if they'll run it just before half-time. Up they go this time. It's Cooper. Cooper with a good pass. He gets it on to Hero. Hero puts it into gear. Oh, they just get him. he's only 10 metres out of the Kiwis raining away. Can they get in before half-time? There's the chip kick for a drop goal, and yes, it's there. Well, they're scoring points every time they get into the Australian 22. And that wasn't a bad kick either from Cooper. Just got it up and it just crept over the bar, but that's all it's got to do for 1 point. 13 points to 6. New Zealand lead Australia. And there's the half-time hooter now. Well, what can Don Furner do to lift this Australian side? The Kiwis are running hot. They told me Kiwis can't fly. These birds are doing it tonight. We'll take a break and we'll be back shortly with Mike and Jack Gibson.
Wednesday night at the movies. Experience the terror of The Deep. Jacqueline Bissett, Nick Nolte, Robert Shaw, and Lou Gossett.
All right, Fritz, what the hell's going on?
Danger, excitement, and suspense.
There's treasure down there. Yeah, I know. I got a feeling, so I gotta go look.
2 fortunes worth dying for.
Where'd you get this exactly?
1 worth killing for.
If his tongue moves again, cut it.
From the author of Jaws comes adventure and intrigue with The Deep. Tonight, 8:30 on 9.
New stock keeps crowding into Copper Art with even bigger discounts. So the accountants say the surplus stock liquidation must continue. With brain-snapping bargains like these copper finish hurricane lamps, they really work and they're only $12 a pair. Magazine rack come coffee tables only $25. Towel racks are crazy $12. Boston ferns $10 for 2. And these planter stands are great value from just $9. Prices crash everywhere at Copper Art as their surplus stock liquidation continues.
You've worked your life, you've played your part, you've helped our country grow. Now time is yours to dream and plan, to let the real you go.
Tura Beach Marindula will change your way of life. Tura Beach has everything you need. Your own country club and 18-hole golf course, tennis courts, bowling greens, and its own shopping centre. Marindula is close by with modern shops and clubs, as well as the airport. Tura Beach Community Development presents exceptional value with all the facilities provided. Jennings at Tura Beach have all the information to give you a whole new outlook on life.
At Tura Beach, new life begins.
For your free colour brochure on Tura Beach, call Jennings on 566 8888.
It's been so long since anyone publicly thanked those Australian manufacturers who buy, use and trust in the strength of Australian steel. We think it's high time we showed you who they are. Look for this sign next time you buy any product made of steel, and you'll know you're picking up the strength of Australia. Thank you.
Here at Glenfiddich in the Highlands flows the Robbie Dhu, a spring so pure that William Grant not only founded his Scotch distillery here in the 1880s, he eventually purchased the whole hillside to preserve the source of water for generations of Grant. Grant Scotch. Drink it straight or mix it, but in these parts we take it with a wee drop of water to release the flavour. Aye, when you appreciate what's in the bottle, you'll ask for Grant.
Welcome back, half-time at Lang Park, where they just don't seem to play bad games of rugby league football. What an incredible result at half-time. New Zealand leading Australia 13 points to 6, leading us a merry old dance, Jack Gibson. And a few of our boys are missing in action.
Well, from the outside backs, from 6 out,
about to kick off for the second half, where they are leading by 13 points to 6 against Australia. The replacement for Australia, not surprising, Les Davidson for Greg Dowling. Dowling had a very ordinary first half. The boy from South Sydney, Les Davidson's on. In our commentary team, Ian Maurice is on.
Well, the Australians have plenty of work to do. And here comes Sterling. He's caught about 18 metres out from his own line. Cross for Pearce. Pearce on the edge of the ruck. Still short of the quarter line. 13 to 6. New Zealand lead Australia. It's Tunks played very strongly in the first half. Probably one of the few Australian forwards to be able to hold his head up after that first half. Now Davidson on to replace Greg Dowling. His first touch of the ball, Davidson. It's back to Sterling. Sterling's kick is down there for Darryl Williams. Oh, Williams made a mess of it. Knocked backward, said the referee.
I'd agree.
Okay. Now, can they push him into touch? Well, he's lost the ball anyway. So the young centre, Kevin Iro, running into trouble. There are the top defenders in the first half. Royce Simmons leading the tackling count for Australia. Sam Stewart, best tackler for New Zealand. Scrum to be worked by Sterling. It's gone with the feed to Lewis, to Kenny. Here comes Jack. Jack has it now. Straightening Jack almost to the quarter line before he's caught by Cooper underneath and McGahn over the top. Now Davidson taking it inside the New Zealand quarter. Simmons getting it to Lewis, switching play with a pass to Sterling, into Miles, and then to Kenny. Kenny's pass has been knocked down by Shelford. Knocked backward, said the referee, and Shelford put down and held by Wayne Pearce. Hurt him too.
I really nailed him. He got him with a great shot, a shoulder shot. It's great for Australia. It's not much good for the boy in the black and white.
Well, there was the ball knocked down by Shelford. Watch this hit from Pearce. A real jarrer. Now Shelford really wondering what hit him, where he is, what's he doing here. Played very strongly, Shelford. Only made 7 tackles, missed a couple, but he's been very, very solid. Walked around the training session this afternoon with a Walkman and the headphones on. He might have something in his ear other than music right now. Now, New Zealand in possession just outside their quarter. Taylor getting it back to Friend. Friend running around McGahn, caught by Davidson. Held by Niebling. Williams' kick. Back for Shearer. Shearer made good ground. Still going, Shearer. Up to the halfway mark. Oh, fine run from Shearer. What a great season this fella's had. Here's Lewis now. Now to Sterling. Plenty of support. Sterling still going the pass out to O'Connor. But O'Connor losing his footing. Now he's held, but play now 10 metres inside the Kiwi territory. Niebling has it. Niebling caught by Horrow. And also Wallace. Across to Lewis. To Miles. Miles up to the quarter line. Looking for support. Got it back. It's been put down though by the Australians. Lindner couldn't hang on to it. Well, Don Furner looking on anxiously. Got out of his seat, as did most of the fans. Now Taylor. Tunks is in there to meet him. So was Lindner. Shelford running into some solid defence. The Kiwis hemmed inside their own quarter line. Kiwis lead 13 points to 6. It's back for Stewart. Again, Tunks in there to do the tackling. This time the kick is back for O'Connor. Ooh, he was perilously close to putting his foot into touch, O'Connor. Stepping nicely, there's the pass for Gary Jack. Jack getting it back on to Wayne Pearce. Back inside New Zealand territory now. This is better play from the Australians. Throwing it around, playing with far more purpose. Miles, no support this time. 10 metres inside the New Zealand half. Simmons to Sterling, to Niebling. Caught underneath by Horrow. Or for the people in Bondi Junction, Horrow. It's back to Sterling, to Lewis. The kick to the open spaces. Shearer's chasing it. Shearer's going to beat them all, I think. Can Shearer get there? No, Williams. The ball may have beaten them all, in fact, over the dead ball line. But Shearer was running at 100 miles an hour onto that one. Here it is. Williams was there. Well, Williams, I thought, carried it over the line. That's what they've ruled. So it's 13-6, and this is a better performance from the Australians, Darryl.
Oh, certainly is, Ian. They've been revved up at half-time. This side's just realised they are the world champions, undefeated in 2 Kangaroo tours, and they've got plenty to play for, but so have New Zealand. Now Gary Jack brings it up, takes the ball on the fly, and this Kiwi defence is still committed, but Australia looking much more dangerous in attack now. They're running deeper. They're coming onto the ball as Simmons now. Cribs a couple, gets it to Sterling. He's ducking under tackles. He's right on the 22. Simmons a dummy half. Where's it going to go? It goes to Lewis, and it goes on to Miles. Miles clapped it. Oh, there's a chance now. It's Pearce. Can he unload it? No, it's a loose ball, and the Kiwis come up with it. Well, another chance. That's 2 that's gone begging in the last couple of minutes of this game. Taylor will play it. This is Mercer. Mercer brings it out for the Kiwis. He's played well, the winger. Looking for work all the time. Horrow now just goes a couple, but look at this Australian defence driving him back. They're trying to contain the Kiwis back here. Get another shot at scoring a try. 13-6 the score. Kiwis in front. Stewart wrapped up, though. They've gone nowhere this time. Look at this Australian defence now. Jack Gibson much more committed.
Well, they got them jammed in there. Probably this is the first, more or less, the time the New Zealanders have had it this half. They've got it to the 22-yard line.
I do. This bloke's made ground every time he's touched. Mercer comes back to Taylor. Here's the clearing kick. Taken well by Shearer. How much pace has Shearer got? Again, he winds up and beats 2. Sensational here from Shearer. All right, hurt in the tackle, slow to get up. Someone's down in black play. Will keep on the ball at the moment because Niebling now gets it out to Miles. They've got a chance. Comes up to Gary Jack on the Tunks. Goes out to O'Connor. O'Connor stepping down the line. Can he stay in? No, he's out. So that's good defence from the Kiwis and some good attack from O'Connor. He was stepping, had nowhere to move. Player down in the back play for Australia. Wally Lewis down again. Well, that's a second bad knock he's taken. And he's pretty groggy too, the Australian captain, shaking the head. Larry Britton working on him. Very, very groggy. But this scrum packed down 10 metres out. It's a Kiwi feed. Australia need it against the feed if they can get it, but they won't. Wait a minute. There's a penalty to New Zealand. Well, that was one they didn't want. The Australians, I mean. This is what happened to Wally Lewis. Now let's have a look here because, well, that, you really can't tell off that one. That was Shearer with the ball there. So we come back live to the action now. The Kiwis have got out of trouble out of their 22. Here he comes, Shelford. Shelford now, driving run, makes about 4 or 5 metres, but plenty of defence here. Taylor looking for the ball. Ross Taylor, again they swamp him down. Tunks tackling his heart out for Australia at the moment. So is Davidson, the new player on. Horrow. He'll play the ball. They haven't really made any gain this time, so the Australian defence is holding as Bell makes a step but crunched down. And they're exactly where they started 4 tackles ago. Irio now, and he's belted down. Well, this Australian side really tackling, and the Kiwis have gone about 2 metres. Clearing kick to come. No, they're going to run it. Stewart this time, a little chip over the top. Lewis takes it on the fly, and they take Lewis. But Australia now back in possession, but players very slow to come back on side at the moment. They're still running back as Pearce. They get a run around. Shearer takes the tackle. Now they're back on side and deep, the Australians. Davidson spins in the tackle. They get it to Lewis. On to Kenny. Kenny with a little break, and he takes it to the 22. Now they've got a chance, Australia. Gene Miles, dummy half. Along it comes down to Sterling. Sterling flicks a ball back for Lewis. Lewis is out in the clear, but there's no one there. He flicks a ball back for Tunks. Tunks handballs it over to Jack. They get it on O'Connor. O'Connor stepped around one. He tried to unload it, couldn't do so. Only 4 or 5 metres out now. Tucks a dummy half. Fires it out to Sterling, and there's the ball in the air. Plenty of chasers. Oh, and a bad bounce for Australia. Shearer flicks it back inside. McGahn, of course, coming back after a broken arm. There's plenty of tape, and it seems to be dangling just a little, Ian Maurice.
Yeah, he doesn't appear to be all that concerned about it. But here's a loose ball now as the Kiwis have been under enormous pressure from the Australians. The Kiwis just outside their own quarter. Here's Stewart. Stewart caught in a hefty tackle from Les Davidson. 10 minutes into the second half. It's 13-6. The Kiwis lead Australia. Here's Cooper. Cooper caught by Miles, driven back by Miles. This is the sort of defence we didn't see from the Australians in the first half. Now Clayton Friend. A blindside pass, which was a horror.
Well, he pushed that pass, but up till then, Friend's had an excellent game. I think he's been the main playmaker for the Kiwis.
Mark Elia had no chance of getting to that one. Head by Sterling, gone with the feed. Here's Gary Jack into the back line. Jack still standing. Can he offload? Yes, he can. Back to Sterling. Sterling over the corner. Sterling still going. No support, though, this time. Now, can they put something on the Australians? Here's Miles showing it. Standing, getting it away to Lewis. The long pass across to O'Connor. O'Connor running diagonally. Getting out to Shearer. Shearer goes for the line. Loses the ball. Another scoring opportunity goes begging for the Australians. And Horrow is down. Well, the Australians have gone so close on a number of occasions in this second half. Horrow's able to play it. Now the Kiwis again trying to get out of this danger area for them. As the Australians' commitment to defence has been much better in this second half. Play situated 12 metres out from the New Zealand line. This is Taylor playing it. And the hooker Wallace kicking this time, and found touch beautifully. Well, that was a great kick from Wallace. Peter Tunks has made 18 tackles in this match, and every one of them have counted, I can tell you. Now this scrum is down right on the halfway mark. It's caught in the tunnel. It'll come out to Australia. Oh, it's been kicked back and picked up by New Zealand. Oh, that's a bad scrum. Bad scrum for Australia as the Kiwis have it with Dean Bell. Now it's on to Iro. Iro slipping though and held by Kenny. Sterling in there to lend a hand, so's Miles. I'd go down to the ground if I was him. The Australians becoming a little frustrated now. There's a penalty. Miles striking out and to play the ball. Well, Iro played that ball. He may have even dummied to play it, but Miles striking out has been penalised. So the Australians continue to be frustrated now. 13-6 is the score with New Zealand leading Australia. If you've just joined us, that is correct. The Kiwis lead 13-6, and this is Adrian Shelford taking the ball up strongly for New Zealand. They're only about 20 metres out from the Australian line. Taylor got it back to Friend, onto Stewart. Stewart caught by the Australians though. Pearce and Lindner combining. It's back to Cooper. Cooper into a solid tackle from Pearce. Last tackle signalled, and now was he waving the Australians back. Here's Taylor now getting it back to Friend. Back to Cooper, to Bell, to Iro. Iro straightens. 10 metres out, Iro. Big, strong fellow. Just turned 19, this fellow. Pressure situation for Australia now as Friend spins it out to McGahn, to Stewart. Across it goes to the winger Mercer. Beautifully tackled. Now Taylor running blindside from dummy half. And that's a turnover. New Zealand used up their 6 tackles as Niebling brings it straight back towards the quarter line. In a great test match as Simmons is caught. Now he's able to offload away to Bob Lindner. Lindner's lost it behind him, picked up by Taylor for New Zealand. Well, things are definitely not going Australia's way now. Frustrated on several occasions. Scoring opportunities went begging. Now the ball is bouncing the Kiwis' way, and here's Dean Bell. Bell trying to straighten.
I think Bell should have released there. He had plenty of help outside him.
Ewan up into the quarter line. He's caught. 13-6, Darrell Eastlake. What a thriller this is.
Yes, and certainly you can't take away anything from the Kiwis' play now. They're playing so well. They really are. They're running the ball a lot better than Australia. They're getting the bounce of the ball too, but their defence has been good. Their attack much better, much brighter than Australia, more creative. Here's the little chip kick through again as they try. There's been a bit of push and shove in the back play there. We'll see what happens. Ball's rolled into touch, and he says, no, we'll put a scrum down. Sam Stewart with a yellow hand there was the kicker, and he's a pretty keen young fellow, and he's played very well. Okay, this scrum packed. Remember what happened the last time, but this time we come up with a ball. Sterling. Inside the 22. Pearce, bustling run, takes play out to the 22. 8-6 the scrum count, so Australia pegging back a little bit. They've lost a couple of vital ones in that. 2 against the feed in that count of 8 for New Zealand. Sterling coming out to Lewis. Floater out for Miles, bouncing out of tackles is Miles. Beautifully unloaded to Gary Jack. Gary Jack downfield, spins around to look for support, but there's none there. Thrown down on his back too, and that's a penalty. That was Taylor. Threw him down. And the penalty goes to Australia. Quick tap has taken Sterling. Heavy knock on Sterling too. But there's no support from Australia. They seem to be too far away from the carrier. Davidson unloads this time to Niebling. Tunks makes a break. Beautiful ball from Tunks. But yeah, it went right to the Kiwis. Jack Gibson said, yeah, great ball, straight to the Kiwis as Bell comes back. And they're making inroads every time they touch the black and white side tonight. Elia now, his stepping run, and he's taken play midway between the half and the quarter, Australia's end of the ground. Up they come again, ball loose. And there's a metres gain. That's in possession, average of 6 tackles. Australia 41, New Zealand 48. I thought it would have been more than that. And again, they raid away the black and whites. But this Australian defence is a little bit more tenacious. Can they hang on? As Stewart now gets it over to Iro. He kicks, he chases. Still going. Gary Jack gets the ball. Runs away, Gary Jack. He's looking for support. Can he link up? He does this time, though, to Shearer. Shearer puts the ball in the air. Now the chase is on. Huge bumping tackle on Shearer, but the ball loose and bouncing down in the Kiwi end of the ground. But there's been a free kick awarded. Jack Gibson.
Well, they got to Shearer when he kicked the ball. There wasn't much in it. I think they were probably entitled to go along with the tackle. They couldn't pull themselves up halfway through the shot, but they got the penalty.
Well, it's a penalty Australia need, and the penalty's been awarded where the ball has landed. Australia looking a little frustrated, very tired. A long time, Jack Gibson, since they've been this far behind in any test match.
Well, you knew they're a little frustrated. They took a quick tap there when they could have picked up 20 or 30 yards from a kick. O'Connor's, or at least gain that amount. But they're going to try and pick the 2 up and get within striking range.
Well, there's the position of the kick. It's on the 22, and it's about probably 15 metres in from touch. O'Connor has been kicking in sensational form this year. You really shouldn't have too much trouble with this as he lines it up. It's got plenty of height. It's got the distance. But it's waved away. Well, the score remains now New Zealand 13, leading Australia 6 here at Lang Park.
9:30.
Teresa, I love you.
A love affair clouds Crockett's judgment.
I'm a junkie.
Miami Vice, after Murder, She Wrote, on 9.
Here at Glenfiddich in the 1880s, William Grant built a distillery, and the legend of Grant's Scotch had begun. In the malting barn, selected barley is brought slowly to germination. And in these unique pot stills, the spirit achieves a rare purity and distinctive character. Today, there's not a Scotch maid could claim a finer heritage. Aye, when you appreciate what's in the bottle, you'll ask for grants.
A cat's got to do what a cat's got to do. A cat's point of view is a cat's point of view. But a cat always knows when he's on a winner. That's why this cat comes home for his kitty cat dinner.
Kitty Cat. Always full of goodness, always great value. And with the varieties cats enjoy every day. Trust Kitty Cat to take care of your cat.
A cat's got to do what a cat's got to do.
13-6. A shock here at Lang Park. A one-off test. Shearer, who took that bad knock before, comes back. Royce Simmons going in at dummy half. Right on the halfway line they are. Tunks takes the ball up just into the Kiwi territory. Play it back to Royce Simmons. Looking for runners. Gets it out to Pearce, onto O'Connor. O'Connor stepping. Davidson there in support. Simmons at dummy half, though. It goes back to Sterling. Sterling on to Lewis. He gets it on to Kenny. Oh, Kenny's put it down, and New Zealand are back in possession.
Well, the Australians just can't get their act together, can they? As New Zealand making the most of every opportunity, bring it up towards the halfway mark, 5 metres short, in fact. 13 points to 6. New Zealand lead Australia. Dean Bell gets to the court at the halfway mark, in fact inside Australian territory now. Run around with Friend and Cooper, and finally out to Stewart, and then back to Taylor. Taylor caught by Davidson. Last tackle signal for New Zealand. His Friend took a stab kick at the touchline. It was touched by Australia, and the tackle count restarts. Well, that's what I mean. Nothing's going right for the Australians now. As Shelford takes the ball up. Ball loose. Anybody's ball. The referee ruling a knock on from both sides.
This team has certainly shortened them up. This Kiwi team has shortened Australia up. I'd say Davis has come in and has made a big impression. He's earned his keep since he's been there.
Strong went with the feed, and Jack is blindside. Pass from Sterling. 8 metres short of the halfway mark. Sterling has it again. Now across to Lewis, to Miles. One-hander to Pearce, and now to Kenny. And a good tackle, but Kenny still able to offload. Back to Lewis, keeping the ball alive with a pass to Davidson. Davidson spinning in the tackle, trying to break free. Can't do so. 9 metres short of the halfway mark. Simmons getting to Tunks, but Tunks slips. 13-6. New Zealand lead Australia. It's to Lewis, and Lewis's kick.
They'll try to salvage some yardage out of it by kicking it down centre field.
Well, this is the winger Mercer who went back for that kick, and Mercer is caught in the in-goal area. Michael O'Connor chasing that kick and held Mercer.
Well, that fullback, he relaxed a little bit. He thought he had plenty of time, but not with O'Connor coming down pretty quick on him.
In fact, it was the winger Mercer, Jack, who I think may be even playing in that fullback position now. Darryl Williams looks to be on the wing. We'll watch that for you. Now, goal line dropout, thanks to that tackle from Michael O'Connor. Kiwis taking their time to get the game restarted. Gary Jack has it now on the halfway mark. He's made 10. He's made a good gain of about 20 metres. Simmons from dummy half. A good run from Simmons. Made about 12 metres. Inside the danger area for New Zealand as Australia spin it wide. And trying to get involved, these fellows just can't. The breaks just won't come their way. Shearer always looking for work. Now the pass from Simmons went to Davidson. Davidson's gone without it. Dived on by Horrow.
See, what's happening here, when New Zealand get the ball, they're stringing 4, 5, 6, 7 passes together. Australia get it, they get 1, they get 2, they get an odd 3 or 4.
Now Wallace getting it back to Shelford. New Zealand leading by 13 points to 6 in their own 22 at the moment, as Taylor takes it up. That one-hander was back for Wallace. Across it goes to Cooper. Cooper, the 5'8" court. Just that's the quarter line you see on your screen. Now Wallace, not Wallace, at least the fullback Williams. Now this is Wallace. And Wallace, who found touch with a beautiful kick before, looking for it again. It won't find touch, but it sent Shearer back to his own quarter line. And he's caught 32 metres out from his own line as Simmons slips into the dummy half position again. Back for Gary Jack, on to Lewis. The pass has gone astray, but picked up by Sterling. Sterling getting it away to Miles. Miles is on the halfway mark, keeping it alive. The pass has gone, been knocked down by New Zealand. Picked up by O'Connor. Play on, said the referee. Tackle count restarts. A swinging arm from Cooper on Jack and missed him.
Well, they got a recount there, got a lucky break.
Now Lewis getting it back to Simmons. Simmons standing and offloading to Niebling. Changing direction again, Niebling. He gets to the halfway mark. The minutes ticking by. 15 minutes of play remaining and Australia trailing. New Zealand lead 13 to 6. Pass has gone to ground. New Zealand come up with it again. Darryl Eastlake.
Well, yes, Miles trying to unload to Lewis. It's a move they use in the Queensland State of Origin side, and it just didn't come off. The pass was a bit low. Lewis went down to get it, and the Kiwis swooped on it. That's been the story of the game. They've been on every loose ball. They're looking hungry this side. Adrian Shelford, that's the second time he's been down tonight and had the magic water and sponge applied. This Kiwi side, well, they've only got to hang on now. They've got a great lead of 13 to 6. Replacement for New Zealand warming up now. That's Gary Freeman. Remember Freeman playing in the series at Carlaw Park in New Zealand last year. Good player. Andy Reserve. The players restarted now. Stewart will play it back onto Taylor. Taylor head down and he's tackled right on the halfway line, but Australia have the football and here's a chance too. Miles now gets it out to Kenny. Kenny down the touchline looking for some support, but he puts a beautiful pass back for McGahn. McGahn now has got the ball again. He gets it on to Iro. Iro now stepping, running away from Australia, who's got a bit of pace, this fellow. Iro coming down the field and brings it back almost to the halfway. He's bounced back on his feet again. How strong is this bloke? Swinging out from Tunks. And the Kiwis pointed it out, but it missed. There's a big hit now again on Shelford.
And Davison didn't.
There's some big tackles going on. Here's Taylor now just into Australia's half. Well, there's been plenty of swinging arms tonight. Fortunately, not too many have hit. Of course, the last team to beat Australia was New Zealand 18-0. That was in 1985 at Carlaw Park in New Zealand. You saw that one on Nine's World Sports, and you're seeing this one tonight on the Nine Network. Little chip kick through, a follow two from Frangi's played well.
Brian Johnson on, Darryl, and Brett Kenny has gone off.
Kenny is off and Brian Johnston on, and that's his first appearance for Australia. He might add a bit of spark because they certainly need it. And there's Johnston now. Plays with the St George Club in Sydney. His first touch of the ball for Australia, and it's not a bad one either because he takes play back to the halfway line. Brett Kenny off. Royce Simmons has had the head down and just doing those little runs. It's a loose pass, goes back. Johnston falls on it. And the referee says, yes, let them play it, the Australians. So it goes on to Sterling. Sterling has Lewis, but he cuts him out and gets it to Davidson. Oh, another loose pass. Again, volleyball this time. It's back to Sterling. It's restarted the tackle count, though. They're starting to throw it around, but they're going nowhere, Australia. Somebody needs to straighten up the attack. They're just running around in circles this side. New Zealand really hustling them. Up they go again with Niebling. He puts the head down and straightens up and makes a few metres. Don Furner, shell shock, sitting there. Can't believe what's happening here. Tunks, he's tried his heart out tonight as he goes forward again. He unloads again.
Picked up by Pierce. Lindner now. And Dean Lonergan has him. Jack. Ball's... I thought the ball had come free, but it hadn't. Lewis. Shearer. Ito the tackler. And Lonergan has replaced Ross Taylor. Lewis goes wide again. Lindner has been the best of the Australian forwards in terms of penetration. Lewis puts it up. Chasing through's O'Connor. Fumble there by Mercer.
A few real hectic knocks, but they will win this ball, and look out New Zealand.
Sterling. Lewis flicks it behind for Sterling again. Miles caught. The high pass over the top. Dale Shearer. Shearer's through the first tackle. The cover coming across. Just stopped short of the line. He thinks he's scored. No try. Darryl Williams forced it.
Rabbit says the referee. My word, they won't like Neville Kesher for that one.
Well, I think they're not going to like Neville Kesher for a lot of things, Des.
Let's have a look at the replay. He was just about there. Down goes the ball, short of the line. Puts it over. That's right. A penalty against that Dale Shearer. Definitely.
Wallace looking around. Eventually to McGann. McGann taken by Davidson. But he's getting up a little slowly. He's hurt. Freeman with a little chip through. He was obstructed. Gary Jack. To O'Connor.
Look at the Kiwis out here. 3 of them on one man just about. That's how good our defence is at the moment. Australia are not sure where they're going. Now they try to spin it again wide.
Tunks hasn't got the pace or the energy anymore. And the Kiwi covering is superb. Plenty of cheers for the Kiwis now from this crowd. Sterling. Miles. Putting it back. That's Johnson with nowhere to go. And once again, 3 tacklers there very quickly. Australia desperate now as Sterling puts the ball up. Williams racing back. It bounces badly for him. Trying to pick it up, but the day is saved. Dean Bell.
Well, when your luck's out, it's really out for Australia. And there's not a dog show they can win this test now after seeing the way those balls bounced tonight.
As the minutes tick away, 4 remain. Williams with the ball. Stewart. They'll be having a great hoolie tonight in the Randwick Club in Wellington.
And this is the upset of the century, you might say, with a champion Australian side facing defeat after they've won 25 consecutive tests. And now they look at defeat with only minutes to go in this one and only test this year against the Australians. And New Zealand are so superb.
Oh, bad ball. Wayne Wallace has it. The Kiwis showing a lot of confidence in throwing it around, lest it should recur. What a game the Kiwis have had in defence. Beating Australia at their own game. Simmons. Over the top to Shearer. Shearer caught by Hoddle. Darryl Williams there to help. And we're counting down seconds, not minutes now. New Zealand still leading 13-6 as Wally Lewis tries in desperation to go through himself. And the Australians desperate now for a try, and they need a try and more. Sterling. Oh, going out through Johnson. Sterling picking it up again. He's beaten everything, this fella. Simmons with the bomb. And a big cheer for Kiwi comes. As underneath that ball was Gary Mercer. and took it safely. Possession for the Kiwis and a let-off. Dean Bell. One or two fresh men.
Well, there are 2 New Zealanders now on the ground. We're down to 11 players. The difference is Elia's away. He's only got 1 to beat.
Mark Elia's going to have a go. He must be tired, but he's got the pace. And the cover gets across there. 1:27, 1:26 as the time counts down. What can Australia pull out of the bag? Sterling. O'Connor. If anyone can, O'Connor can. Still going, O'Connor. The desperate dives. Wayne Wallace has him. But can he wrap up the ball? No, Simmons to Tugs. Simmons. Ball went to ground. Sterling.
That one, right on half-time, you might say. That's been the killer for Australia, because they needed a converted try and a penalty.
And Dean Bell has been named man of the match as New Zealand salvaged possession with 16, 15, 14 seconds to go. History being made at Lang Park in Brisbane. The first loss in 25 tests for Australia. That's it, Australia unnailed. The final hooter is gone, and Tank Gordon can rejoice.
Well, I've seldom seen so many people at Lang Park here leap in the air. There must be a tremendous number of Kiwis here. And there's Don Ferner, the first time that he's tasted a pretty solid defeat. They threw the book at New Zealand, couldn't quite make it. What a tremendous night it has been for Australia and New Zealand, and Wally Lewis, well, a captain who's shaking hands now with Adrian Shelford, who's had an outstanding game, and Tony Gordon, a superb coach today. The era of Graham Lowe over, the start of Tony Gordon, faced with the most difficult one to try and bring this young, competitive Kiwi side. The national selectors have done a great job, and so have the New Zealand team out there today. They've finished fitter, and there goes it looks like the haka, is it, for the people on that far side there, packed with people, and led by Sam Stewart. A great night for New Zealand, created history, you might say, by stopping this great run. Great stuff, Sammy Stewart. And what a wonderful end to this brief tour, which included a win against Papua New Guinea and the champions Australia, as they come across for another haka. My word, this New Zealand contingent here on the grandstand right down in front of us are absolutely elated. The Kiwis, there's Tony Gordon. Everyone has their hands up in the air in gesticulation of victory. And Australia have gone off the ground now as they leave. The last player is their loose forward, and they're far from happy with what has happened to them tonight.